All right.
All right.
Well,
And the final comic, the biggest comic of the week.
yeah, well, one of the big 52 releases.
Yeah, Wonder Woman #1. And this one's by 100 Bullets is Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chiang. And Wonder Woman is one of those concepts that they can't ever really seem to get very right, I feel like, in comics. There hasn't really been like a,
seems like they
a great villain or a great arc, you know what I mean? It's just been pretty,
Yeah, and she's, culturally she's kind of thought of in that kind of trinity with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. But if you actually look at the Wonder Woman comics, especially in for quite some time, that character has not really clicked. It's never really been something that's really hit with
DC's
fans.
had a struggle trying to get it on the big screen or the small screen.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, it's just kind of their...
It's tough to make Wonder Woman work, but Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chiang have given it a shot.
Yep.
And what did you think of their efforts?
I think they succeed, personally.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Glad you think so, too.
Oh, yeah.
I always think that Wonder Woman is such a great concept because she's so entrenched in Greek mythology. And Greek mythology is really cool. You can do a lot of cool things with it. Do you know what I mean? It's just you have to kind of pull it out of there. And I don't think a lot of people are able to do that very well. But Brian Azzarello has some really cool things happening in this book. Right away at the beginning, we get some sort of godlike character who is using some women to kind of see the future for him. And that what kind of comes out of this is what happens with Wonder Woman is she's kind of she's kind of drawn into this battle to protect this girl and her unborn child who is presumably going to replace one of the gods. And this character at the beginning does not want it to be him. He's not sure if it's going to be him. It's just one of the children of... I'm not even sure exactly who it is because I don't think they explicitly said Zeus.
Oh, they did.
Did they?
Zeus.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just assumed. Okay. So yeah, Zeus. And Zeus is who has impregnated this girl.
Yep.
So Wonder Woman is pretty much going to be protecting this girl and her child throughout this. But a lot of great action scenes and cool, creepy creatures and stuff like that, and almost horror images with the horses in here. But lots of it's really flashy. It's really action packed. Wonder Woman and this girl, I don't know. There's a nice dynamic there between them. But I think the Greek mythology stuff is really strong here. The whole thing with the peacock feathers, kind of on the periphery of the panels, in the beginning sequence where, she basically beheads some horses, whoever this mysterious character is who's sending these assassins after this girl, and kind of builds centaurs out of them. But yeah, the sun god guy is really awesome, I feel like. Really cool imagery that they have in there. And the art is just really, really solid throughout, I feel like, too. And like you said, there's that naked, introduction to Wonder Woman when they introduce Wonder Woman into the comic, where she's naked, but it's done tastefully, unlike Catwoman. And I don't know, they make Wonder Woman seem kind of like a badass. You really like her character in this one. I don't feel like there's been that passionate I love Wonder Woman beyond the concept of Wonder Woman being a strong female Amazon. You know what I mean?
Right. Here, the idea of Wonder Woman has always been a lot better.
And that's what resonates with people, I feel like.
Comic book.
Yeah. I have somebody I work with at work is a huge Wonder Woman fan, but it's more the idea of Wonder Woman that she likes. So she gets Wonder Woman.
Which is understandable. I like it's kind of like what I talked about with Batgirl. I like the concepts, but there's not a lot of actual good comics.
Yeah.
And I think that's been the case for Wonder Woman. There have been some good Wonder Woman comics.
Yeah, sure. But nothing that really stands out. There's Superman books you can point to, Batman, runs you can point to.
That really excite fans.
Exactly. There's just Wonder Woman is just kind of I don't know, people just kind of don't know what to do with her, but it seems like Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chiang have a vision for that is a great relaunch of the character in this new 52.
Yeah, I gotta say, I really like this one, and I'm kind of getting to the point where I kind of don't want to like too many more of these 52s, so I'm starting to wonder how I'm going to pay for these if I follow too many of these beyond the first issues. But this is definitely a good book. It's definitely a success. It has a real particular vision for what the creative team wants to do with Wonder Woman, which not all of the new DC 52 titles have had. The best ones, I think, have had a really clear kind of vision for what they want this character to be. I totally agree with everything you say about it. What I like best about it, like you, was the way in which Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chiang, who does beautiful, amazing work here, the way that they incorporate the Greek mythology. Every character, mythological character that appears here has kind of a creepy horror twist to it. You know, so is it Mercury or Hermes?
Hermes.
So Hermes appears, but it's a creepier Hermes than what we've seen. There's centaurs, but it's a much more gory, strange, scary version of centaurs than what we're traditionally used to. So everything is kind of filtered through this, like pseudo horror movie lens almost. And their version of Wonder Woman fits perfectly into that world. A confident, cool character. I even like the kind of revised costume. I thought it looked good here. Yeah, it was good and a good story. There really wasn't anything about it I didn't like.
Do you think DC in general, it kind of seems like with this new relaunch 52 that there is a kind of horror edge to to the DC universe in general? It's like, I mean, we've seen dark superheroes for a while, but like, there's a lot of like horror stuff coming out of this one. It seems like, last week was all horror. Next week is gonna be a lot of horror.
I think part of that might be we might be selecting books.
Maybe.
I mean, I didn't really realize that was going to be this type thing that went with Wonder Woman, but we might be selecting stuff that goes that way a little bit more. But yeah, if you look at a lot of stuff that like Geoff Johns was doing before the New 52 and Green Lantern, a lot of it was very, very violent, very gore, kind of horror tinge in its own way. Obviously, Vertigo is like a horror imprint. So a lot of that stuff has been successful for DC, I think, to one extent or another in the past. So yeah, maybe they are kind of allowing that to seep into the regular DC universe a little bit more. But yeah, I think Wonder Woman's an example of a comic where they kind of mix the superhero with, a slight kind of horror edge to really great effect. And again, like Cliff Chiang's art looks really nice here. He has kind of a real simplified style, but it's beautiful cartooning.
I think it's some of the best art we've seen so far with the 52.
Yeah, I agree. The book just zips right along, and it's really, really well put together.
Perfectly paced.
Yep. Yeah, so neither Brian Azzarello or an art style like Cliff Chiang's is one that I would have thought to assign to a book like Wonder Woman, but it works really well here. And their take on the character is probably not so different that the quality will be maintained should they move on as the creative team. But at least for this run, I think we're going to get some cool Wonder Woman comics. They'll probably be some of the best Wonder Woman comics ever done. So, yeah, definitely the pick of the week, and I think one of the highlights of the New 52 is the new Wonder Woman.
I think so too. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised by this, and I think people are definitely going to want to keep a close eye on Wonder Woman.
But I hope she still has her invisible plane.
We'll see.
We'll see.
All right, that's the end of this round of the New 52, I guess.
Yeah, that wraps up week 3. So tune in next time for the epic conclusion. And in addition to reviewing the books next week, we'll probably present some of our kind of final thoughts on how 52 has worked overall and what we think about the whole project.
And next week it's going to be back to more horror stuff like in week 2, like Voodoo, Justice League Dark. So expect more horror-ish titles.
I'm looking
week.
forward to it.
All right, thank you very much,
Thanks
and
for watching.
we'll see you next week.
Bye.